Take up and read the next amendment.
Late filed barcode 888100 by Senator Gaetz. Delete lines 544 through 1515 and insert amendment.
President Gaetz, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We don't do this very much. We shouldn't do this very much. But somebody asked me the other day, a reporter said to me, is this your bill or is this Gardiner's bill? And I said, if it passes, it's Gardiner's law. If it fails, it's Gaetz's bill. None of us were, well, maybe Senator Latvala may have been, was here, and very likely President Margolis was here when John McKay was president, and the McKay scholarships were developed. And there are all kinds of people all over Florida who never have had the pleasure of meeting John McKay. They know what a McKay scholarship is. And my guess is, since all of us are mortal, that you know, when President McKay's funeral is held, my guess is someone will say, you know, this is the guy after whom the McKay scholarships are named. He did this for the children of Florida. Well, my amendment, Mr. President, would name this as the Gardiner Scholarship. I had a problem with this amendment, though, because I couldn't decide whether it ought to be the Andy Gardiner Scholarship or the Camille Gardiner Scholarship or the Andrew Gardiner Scholarship, because all of them are involved. And so many of us, so many of you are involved in this as well. So the amendment provides that it's the Gardiner Scholarship, not just in the statute books, but in every piece of educational material, every description, every letter to every family telling them that they have received this scholarship. The name Gardiner will be attached to this scholarship from now until the end of time. And that's the amendment, Mr. President.
Thank you, but I will tell you no thank you, and let me tell you why. President Gaetz, you have been a complete rock star on this, and while it's humbling, and I agree that when you try to change the McKay Scholarship, you know you have to deal with John McKay, right? And we always know that, and Senator Latvala was here and others. But I made a commitment to the House that we would send this bill clean, and we would send it with no amendments. And it would be my request, and while it's very humbling that we withdraw this amendment, and we would help me honor my commitment to the House, and maybe another time in another place we would entertain that. So, President Gaetz, I would ask that you'd withdraw it at this time, and maybe we can talk about it. But the fact that you've acknowledged it, and the fact that whether my name's on this or not, this is by far, and you and I spent some time talking about this yesterday, this piece of legislation has changed lives. And rarely do I meet a family, you know, we've all been to events, and occasionally somebody will come up to you and give you a hard time about a vote that you took or something that you did. But this is a bill that people come up to us with tears in their eyes and talk about how it's changed their life. And so at this time, I would like to, because I made a commitment, and I want to honor my commitment to the Speaker. So, but thank you, President Gaetz. You're recognized.
Well, Mr. President, I think there's some rule about appealing the decision of the chair. I would like to ask your permission that this amendment be included as a traveling amendment. That way, if the House of Representatives finds this amendment to be offensive to them, and I can't imagine they would, they could strip it off and still take the bill. But in consultation with my friend, the Majority Leader, I'd like to propose this as a traveling amendment, Mr. President.
I do not want to put the House in a situation, again, you know, this is a special week for everybody. We have Senator Dean's water bill later today, and I hear you, but like I said, that there is a desire to get this done, and so I don't want to put the House in a situation, and if it would be okay with you, maybe we just would withdraw this amendment right now. We got some more time today, and we can maybe visit about it, but it would be my preference, and you're right, at the end of the day, I'm also the arbitrator of the rules, the interpretation of the rules. So that's the beauty of being the president. So, but I would ask at this moment that you withdraw this amendment. Abruzzo, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. President. All due respect, I object to your request. And we.
Well, we'll talk about it, but at this time, you know, President Gaetz, what's important to me is that we have a good week, and that this bill's a good bill. And I know we're on this amendment, but I'm going to go ahead and say a few words about it. There's a piece of this bill that allows for post-secondary options for individuals with unique abilities. And there's an individual here who has been in our office volunteered time last year in our office, and she's here on the floor today. Claire, stand up. If you have not had a chance to visit with Claire, Claire was interviewed by the Florida Channel last year, and she made a comment that I think that this bill will maybe help her get there. She said, I just want to go to college. And President Gaetz, your bill will provide that path, that cradle to career. And the scholarship program, to have that opportunity. Camille and I were talking about this bill last night, and she got an email from a mother who said, and I told you this too, President Gaetz, the University of Central Florida has already started the process of some of these programs. And the mother sent a message to Camille and said, never in my life did I think I would be dropping my daughter off at the University of Central Florida. So, pretty good bill. So, I'm very humbled and very proud. The Speaker called and said that he'll take the amendment. So since we've done this all so publicly, thank you to the Speaker, and thank you to President Gaetz. I will be honored to be associated with this, and as we all should. We do a lot of things in Tallahassee that you find out in a mail piece later that maybe you regret. But I can tell you, each of us, Republican, Democrat, things like this is why you come up here. So. President Gaetz, you're recognized. Close.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Former presidents still have a little influence. Not much, not much, not much. Mr. President, I would ask that the board be opened for members to join in co-sponsoring this amendment.
Unlock the board, and members can choose to co-sponsor. Lock the board.
39 co-sponsors, 0 nays, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you, President Gaetz. I think we have to adopt the amendment now. So is there any, why don't we adopt the amendment, then we may have some debate. Leader Joyner, would you like to wait and debate on the bill?
I'll wait.
Okay, all right. President Gaetz, you're recognized to close on your amendment.
You've closed, Mr. President. Speaker Crisafulli closed.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Show it adopted.